Rogers, Community Engagement Manager at Arizona Theater Company. And who are you, Chanel?
I am Chanel Bragg, the Associate Artistic Director for Arizona Theater Company, 3 months in counting.
That's right. 3 very dramatic months, though. So. Here
So
from our current digital reading of Idris Goodwin's The Realness. Maybe we can go around. Well, you can't go around on Zoom anymore. I always forget.
Right.
But maybe I'll call upon you and let us know who you are, where you are, because now you could be anywhere in the world these days.
Yeah.
And well, let's just start right there. Analisa, you want to start for us?
Yeah, okay, great. What's up, guys? Happy to be here. I'm Analisa Velez. I play the role of Prima. I'm currently in Florida, so I got the sun. Very happy.
Awesome.
Nice.
How about you, Héctor? Where are you?
Hey, my name is Héctor Flores Jr., and I am in New York City. I'm in Hell's Kitchen, to be exact.
Nice.
I play Roy.
Right.
And Megan, you're last up, but not least.
Yes. I am Megan Sandberg-Zakian. I had the pleasure of directing these brilliant humans in the Realness, and I am currently on the unceded lands of the Massachusetts and the Wampanoag here in Boston, Massachusetts, where it is not sunny.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. I am all about the land declaration. So we are on Tohono O'odham here in Phoenix, Arizona. So thank you for that land acknowledgement. It's hard to do a show like this, especially when it's involving beats, and so much of the music drives this type of show. So Megan, I want to throw it to you first as a director. Like, how did you feel? What challenges did you feel like you were coming up against being like, I'm presenting this show in this medium right now?
Well, I mean, first of all, the way that Zoom delays everything and compresses everything means that as a director, you're never hearing exactly what the actors are doing. You know, so you're not hearing them, the fullness of their voices. You're not hearing all the nuance. Sometimes you can't hear things like breath. And you're not hearing the timing necessarily that they are intending, or that it's, you know, the timing they hear in their own voice in their space. And of course, they can't hear each other exactly as intended. So all of that sort of that layer of like slightly misconnection in terms of humanity, which is always an issue on Zoom, becomes like even more of an issue when you're dealing with anything musical. And you know, one of my first cues to this sort of like, oh, was we did a test where we were working on like, what happens if we play the beat through Zoom and Analisa raps to it, and then we move the beat in post so that the beat is where she intended it. And then I was like on screen with her, so I was like sort of bobbing my head along to it while we were doing the test. And when we looked at the video from the test, the beat had been moved, so she sounded on beat, but my head bobbing looked so stupid because the beat had been moved, you know. So I was sitting there like, oh God, I look even.
So they had you on like 1 and 3, is what you're saying.
Right. Exactly. For real.
Don't know what I was on. It's more like you're on 0.78 and 2.235. I mean, it's just, you know, stupid. And then, I mean, even up until yesterday, Analisa was with the video editor, like fixing issues in the final edit that I hadn't even like clocked because I hadn't ever heard her really do it, you know? So yeah, that part is really challenging, but it's cool that, you know, one thing that is cool is that we can be so facile with the technology that we can quickly fix it. And, you know, if you just watched it, what you saw today was Analisa's intended delivery. So that's nice.
And you can see that everywhere. That's up. We put that up on all platforms. So
No, we didn't.
We didn't. We were getting that up on all platforms. Okay.
We did not put the text. I wouldn't do like that.
It is quite amazing though, because with all that said, Megan and Cass, like the way you guys really establish place is really quite remarkable, and pace. It's really, really phenomenal. What about from the actor's point of view? Like, how did that feel? What was your point of view take on that? How did that feel on your end?
You want to go ahead? Go ahead, Héctor.
Analisa, you go first. Go ahead, baby. Let them know what it was like.
For me, honestly, like, are we allowed to cuss? We're not allowed to cuss. Let me not cuss. For me, it was, it was like, just honestly, I was just really happy to like, just dive into meaty work and like to have really amazing, just creators on one screen. And like, honestly, I don't like this screen mess. I'll be real with you. But like our director's dope, our playwright's dope, like everybody in those rehearsal rooms, like it was crazy because I was just like, right, you feel me, Héctor? Yeah. And so I was just like happy to be there. Like, yeah, there are difficulties, but like having a script that I could like really chomp on every day for a week was so liberating. And then just the stuff that you learn as an artist daily in rehearsal, and then you see how art really does emulate life. So I'm like, oh, so I need to fix that in my life. Okay. You know what I mean? It was like, I don't want to say therapy, but it was kind of like that, like getting life lessons every day. And it was just so nice to have at a time like this. Like, it was really refreshing for me because I don't really like Zoom readings, but I said yes because I was excited about it. And I think there's power in that. Okay, I'm done.
No, and that's real. And I don't know if you tuned into our Hang and Focus episode yesterday, but we interviewed a local female MC, my girl Camille Sledge, who's also the founder of the School of Hip Hop. And it was crazy. From our interview, Will was able to intersplice portions of the show that literally went along with her own personal testimony. So literally this is art actually imitating life. And it was a story that she identified with on a very real level. And I didn't prompt her. We just were doing the interview and I was just asking her questions. And she was like, yeah, of course. No, I do feel that way. And then he found a great portion of the show to splice in. And I was like, wow, art, like that's a testament to Idris's like brilliant.
Yeah.
Because it takes someone truly connected to be able to understand how to write that. So I was like, oh, it's so good. So, all right. Yeah. Now, Héctor, what about you?
I think being an actor in a world where all our work has basically stopped for the most part, like a good 90% of it has stopped, especially for those of us who actually work in theater and not in film. It felt a little bit more like being myself, like going back to a rehearsal space, even though room in the way that we know it. For me, I had done something recently, but it was a dance gig, and we got to like dance with each other and touch each other, and everything was like COVID compliant, like things up the nose and everything, but you had to wear the masks and we weren't speaking. So like now in this circumstance, we're speaking and you're trying to figure out your blocking, and your blocking is not the room, but it's this. So if I'm over here, I'm talking to this person like this, okay, and then this, especially like I have that rappers gallery section where I'm 5 different people, and Megan and I were exploring like how to make those people work and focus, and playing with the space in which that I was in helped me determine like who was going to be what and what audience they were speaking to, if that makes any sense.
So you go off every direction except for up, I think, in that little moment. Yeah, it was beautiful work. Yeah.
That frame, boy. He said, "What's the frame?" Got it. Héctor wasn't playing. No.
I remember there was like some moment when I was said like with great seriousness, like, okay, so when you ride your bicycle away, and I just realized that like you had created. So
it's that head bop at the end that like really makes.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
In the spirit of this show, we want to ask, and in the spirit of Idris's script, we will not ask how you fell in love with hip hop, but we were kind of wondering if we could get you guys to like talk about some of your first memorable hip hop experiences.
Oh my God.
Wait, but can we talk about that line for 1 minute though? That line was like, why are they personifying hip hop like it's a woman? I was laughing so hard.
I've definitely done that. I think just because I recently fallen in love with music, like really felt like to the point where I literally am like, yeah, I'm married to music, so just leave me alone, And I get that, and it sounds so corny, but like I actually get it now.
Yeah, maybe you need to drop your Instagram handle just real quick, because you need to listen to this human make music.
Yes, at Analisa Velez. That's it.
Absolutely.
We'll drop that on in the comment on our online when we post this back out.
Yeah.
And at the end, we want to go around and actually find out a little bit about what other projects you're working on, which I know some of you have some pretty exciting stuff going on. So, but yeah, so let's go back to like your memorable hip hop experiences. That's what I think. Like this play is so nostalgic, and like it made me miss the '90s, and I miss the '90s right now for many reasons. And that we would be in the same room right now having this conversation. It'd also be like very young. But yeah, like I'm just gonna throw that out there and see what comes back at me.
I kind of grew up with like all kinds of music, and it was kind of crazy because I grew up in Jersey, so like I loved listening to R&B and things that were really musical. And my first segue into rap was hearing Biggie Smalls on a 112 track.
Hey,
only one. Only you. And I think from there I kind of segued into a bunch of other things. And every time I would try to put it on Hot 97, like my dad would put it back on La Mega because salsa was what we were going to listen to because we're Puerto Rican. But it was a really interesting segue growing up in Jersey and having my family influences tied in with a whole bunch of other things, and then how that kind of sparked into like, or made the way for rappers like Big Pun and for Cardi B, and people that represent the Latin community.
Yeah, I think for me, I recently, specifically hip hop, I think I recently started to really appreciate all the beauty that she is. And I think I really, I guess, clocked in when I first heard J. Cole, and I like actually listened to the lyrics and I said, "Oh, rap is poetry."
It is.
Oh, this shit goes. This stuff goes back to like Shakespeare, right? And they told us that wasn't for us. And I'm like, nah, we made that. You're welcome. Right. And so I like realized, I'm like, yo, this is a whole nother language. And some people don't even understand it. But when you do, like, oh my gosh.
Respect for it enough to at least take a sip, to at least
Yeah. And I guess that also, I'm sorry, Hector, what'd you say?
I'm just saying, like, to piggyback on what you're saying, I feel like if people gave it a chance, they would realize that there's more to it than what they see at face value. You know what I mean? I feel like Nas was saying a whole bunch of real,
right. But yeah, exactly. And like, even working as an MC, you realize how much breath work goes into it, how much goes into writing one lyric, bro, like one lyric. And it's just it's so smart. And I think it's gotten the respect it deserves, but even still, I think it's still going like this to some people because they're not listening, right? And we do have amazing MCs, and I don't know, it's like reading a book. It's so exciting.
I think that's like so important what you're saying though about like framing it as poetry, because that's what like we've accepted that poetry is a classical art form, and this is poetry. In fact, if you watch the new Animaniacs on Hulu, there's a scene I watched this morning where Shakespeare and Jay-Z do a rap battle.
Stop!
I need to go look at that.
I need to get up on my Animaniacs. That is cute and yak no yak.
So that's right.
But that's brilliant. Always take it back. Like, so we always think we're making new things, and it's like there's nothing new on this planet, bro. So if you can just take something, I guess, and elevate it or make it, bring your own flavor to it, right? Yeah.
No, that's the breadth of innovation. Like, honestly, I love hip hop, number one, because of where I'm from. So it's cultural for me. But then outside of that, though, like I used to break down Tupac lyrics, and 100%, like you said, it's poetry. And I'm like, oh, wow, like what, like this wordplay that he did right now. Did you hear what he said? Like, and it gets you hype hearing how somebody is so clever. So I'm not a rapper, but my family loves to, like, even my like nephew, like he's 2 years old, he'll go to YouTube and put on a trap beat and just start laying baby gibberish down. Like, it's actually kind of amazing. I'm not joking. And he beat boxes.
That's a genius.
So it's in us, right? Like, so some things are just innate, and especially when it's cultural and it's ancestral. Hip hop is that for me. And so when I found out we were doing this show, I was like, yes, because I felt like not only are we normalizing the stories of Black and brown people in our theater, but we also are giving a chance to show that we're not that different. This is poetry, just like Shakespeare. It's all synonymous. It all makes sense. And one of the really great quotes that we got from people watching the Realness, so thank you for your work. We got, sorry if you don't know if you can hear me, I'm getting a little bit of feedback in the ear. But what this critic said is that they were like, I am a white identifying man and I don't know anything by hip hop, but tell me there's not anything that's more than a love story. Tell me a better love story than what I'm seeing right here. And that connection, I was like, yes, mission accomplished. So thank you. That's a testament to your work and a testament to Idris's writing, and Megan, your beautiful direction.
Thank you for trusting us with this baby.
Yeah, that's such a beautiful sentiment and such a true and that's how I feel like I connect to the piece too. The sense of the heartbeat of I love that section where T.O. is talking about the beat of his heart becoming the bass line to the Prima's theme, to the love song that plays every time he's around her. And you know, it's really like there's nothing more universal than like that feeling that like the entire world becomes more vivid and more more the world becomes more, you know, when you fall in love and when you feel that. And I think that hip hop just does a particularly sweet job of giving us that swell and that feeling. And also, I mean, Idris is really a poet also, and so his, you know, the fact that he's writing about hip hop, it's sort of like poetry on poetry on poetry, you know. There's the poetry of hip hop, the poetry of the actual beats themselves, which would be more if we were, you know, in production, and then the poetry of his words, which was really, you know, when we were rehearsing, I kept thinking, you know, okay, when they're rapping, we have to move the music to make sure that it's lining up exactly with the track. But, you know, with the stuff that's just underscoring, we don't have to worry about it that much. And Terrell kept saying, you know, the actor that plays T.O., who has a lot of monologues that are underscored with music, kept saying like, no, it's just as important for my flow. Like, although this isn't rap, the poetry of the spoken word is so, and the way that it flows with the music and with the beat is actually really. Yeah.
I would be curious to know, just like from a craft sort of point of view as an actor or director, how you approached, I mean, really how you started to approach these characters and the material itself. There's moments where, I mean, all of the different MC or the different kinds of MCs, that sequence is amazing, Héctor. And then Analisa, every time I see that scene where it's the first scene that he's interviewing you and you're leaned up against the wall, and you, the way you lean up against that wall and just like the gentleness with which you go into that scene, and you're making him come to you, it is like you've just really established a whole world. And then another one to give praise all around. I know Chanel and I were on the phone at like midnight the other night talking, and we were like I don't miss the kisses. Like I felt.
Yeah, that's Megan, bro. That's all Megan, bro.
So I just really, I'm curious, like how you guys started like to approach the material as like even outside of Zoom and outside of all of this world that we're in now. Like, how do you guys start to approach material?
I think it's just finding the honesty in who it is you're playing in that moment, and then finding all the similarities that, for me, that I have with that character. And then I, you know, do the work to patch in the rest of the pieces so this is a whole person. So in that respect, if I have to make up the world within these lines right here, I need to like pick in my head, where is T.O., where is the homegirl that I was talking to, and what are the things that I'm supposed to be offering in the scene, so I can gesture that even if I don't have the thing. Because the more real I make it for me, the more you're going to be able to, with your imagination, put the rest of the pieces together. I didn't have to have a blunt in my hand for you to see that I was doing something and then passing that blunt. Right. You know what I mean?
And I saw the nuts.
For you to see it.
That's all the nuts.
Right.
They move too fast.
I was quick with it. No, Roy's a ninja.
Megan, what about you? Like, how do you start to direct a play on like a material like this?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I the way that it works on Zoom, I guess for me is the way that it works in any other space, which is just like, I think about what is the, like, I think form and content are really related. So I think about like, what is the piece carrying, and what does that mean that we sort of have to do? How do we have to do this to have our process mirror what the play wants or needs? And I feel because the play is so much about everything we were just talking about in terms of the not just the love and the sparkle of the world, but also the like incredibly deep passion for hip hop. That I felt like if we could drop into both a space of love and play with each other, and also just be really, really hyped about the play in general. I mean, about hip hop, but also just about the play and about Idris's words. That's really what we needed. And I mean, yeah, we worked technically and we talked about characters and acting and stuff, but honestly, like we spent a lot of time just kind of like living in an energetic space of just kind of like being lit. And I feel like that you can feel that in the, you know, in what happened. And I have such a big smile on my face listening Chanel and Will talk about these actors' work, because mostly for me, the pleasure of this is getting to watch these brilliant people, you know, just surprise me and amaze me, and I just, you know, laugh and clap and say more of that, you know, and also feel. I got to see the play when it was brilliantly directed by Wendy Goldberg at Merrimack Rep here close to Boston in Lowell, Mass, where the world premiere happened, and Sean produced the world premiere. Sean Daniels produced the world premiere here, and I think I also had the benefit of having seen the full world and having it vividly in my mind, and so I could bring that too. And I think the image is from the scenic design, maybe, or from the
it's from the
something
internet.
at MRT.
You said no.
Well,
I love the internet.
The internet is amazing.
It's amazing.
Hi, internet. What's up, internet?
Oh, no.
I will say that, like, you know, Chanel and I probably get to see, aside from the cast and like director, we probably see your work more than anyone else, because we're in charge of all of the digital content that goes out. So I've watched every performance you guys get. I've watched this thing about 10 times through. Same.
Low key, like just trying to make sure for quality assurance and making sure the things are what it is. I low key can quote your lines with you.
Yeah. But it is amazing how much detail. I mean, really, like how you guys took this, and it all shows. What I'm trying to say is it all shows. It's all there on the screen. So thank you for bringing that to us, for sure.
I also want to bring up too the sense of family already in such a short amount of time, because even when I would come into this space where I'd be like, just checking in, how's recording going or whatever, it was like a party. Like I actually ended up staying with y'all so long I almost was late to a meeting. I was so excited.
You watching the Zoom shade.
But how do you create that environment knowing you are not in a room with other people?
I think really, and I know it's gonna sound corny because it's called the realness, but I think the group of people that did work together, everybody came very honest. Like I don't feel like people came with sometimes you come into a room, you're like, oh God, are we gonna do this? Okay. Nobody came. It was just like, I'm here, cool, let's do this. And it was just, it's very easy to be yourself when other people are being themselves, you know? That's what I think.
All right, so let's find out more about your projects.
I was literally just typing that to you, Chanel. I was like, let's find out about the other.
Will is like, excuse me, move on. Move on, sis.
We did a little digging. We did a little digging on all of you.
You sure did, yeah. So things going great. I have a track coming out. It's called Rumba, and I'm featured on it with Young Liz. We got a music video coming out November 27th. So make sure to pre-save the song. I also have another track called Peter Pain. So you can find that on all music platforms. And yeah, just writing different projects.
And we'll push that out on the ATC. You're an ATC artist now, so we'll push that out on our platforms. But also, can you talk a little bit about School for Legends?
Oh my God, yes, that's my baby. Okay, so School for Legends is a show that I host and produce with my homeboy Montgomery Morrow. Shout out Morrow Productions. No, it's Morrow Productions. So what we do is we have a prompt, and I give this prompt to all the artists that I handpick out, and I'm just like, hey. This is the prompt, please create something with that. And then the night of, we have an in-house beatboxer and an in-house singer, and they just riff off each other. And when I tell you, these artists are so, I'm gonna start crying because these artists are so dope. Like, it's really, I like to say we're like the Apollo, like you have to come through us to, because a lot of people who have come on our stage have like done, other things. And I'm not saying it's because of us, I'm just saying we know talent when we see it. So, And it's like this, it's almost like, it's like this sanctuary. I don't even know. You can cry, you can laugh, but you'll leave feeling more full than you came in. And that's a promise I can leave you with. Done. So make sure to follow School for Legends at School for Legends Alumni. Make sure to follow me at Analisa Velez, Analisa Velez. And yeah, those are my plugs. I mean, also Mirror Talks and Lisa Lessons, but you'll find that on my IG.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you. Megan, Héctor, Megan, you want to go?
Megan, you go first.
Yeah. Let me go first because I can't go after both of these people. It would just be depressing. I can't follow.
Oh, I just write books. Is like basically what.
That's all I have to say. I wrote this thing.
Yeah, you just held up a book and said that's all I have to say. Like how many pages?
That's all I have to say. I got a book.
I would drop it, but
you wrote a book, dude.
Yeah, girl. I wrote a book. It's called There Must Be Happy Endings on a theater of optimism and honesty. And it's available through the Third Thing Press. Support indie presses. Actually, we have the press has a sale going on right now that's really awesome. It's called the Transfer of Power sale through January 20th. And so you get 20% off your purchase, and then the press also gives 20% to the Okra Project, which is an amazing nonprofit.
Yes, I love the Okra Project. That's wonderful.
Definitely recommend checking that out for all your holiday gifting needs. And there's a bunch of really cool titles, including mine. But yeah, so I wrote this book, and that's really, I mean, I teach, I direct, but I'm really focused on getting the book out there right now and trying to work on a second one, maybe also.
Oh, you can learn more about her book on yesterday.
Come on, bestseller.
Megan, what?
Hey,
if you'd like to hear Megan talk more about her book, she did so yesterday on Hang in Focus, so you can go out there. That way she talks extensively.
Okay.
Yeah, Héctor.
Good, yeah.
Well, I'm actually part of a music group. There's 3 of us. We're 2 singers and a rapper, oddly enough. I am not the rapper of the group. But our group name is The Collective, and we've got music, and you can stream it on anywhere that you stream music. We have an EP out right now called Up All Night, and then we also got 4 singles up there too. So please take a listen, check out the website, let us know what you like, and we out, y'all. I also work with a nonprofit theater company called New York Theater Barn, and as part of their core programming, I am the president of Theater Barn Records, which is an imprint of the Grammy Award-winning Broadway records, and our focus is creating concept albums for new musicals while they're still in incubation.
Come through.
On, Héctor.
Okay.
So I actually just
this is why I didn't want to go third. I'm saying.
I just moderated a round table. That was actually back in October, but it was taped, and it's going to be released on Broadway on demand and New York Theater Barn's YouTube channel. So you should definitely check it out. It's called A Seat at the Table, and we have theater juggernauts, Jerry Mitchell, Daniel J. Watts, Joe Iconis, Bjork Lee, Kirsten Childs, and Stephanie Iwata. And it's a really interesting talk about where we are as people in theater in today in COVID, and what it's like being a woman of color, what it's like being a person of color, what the power is in a name. We gotta So follow at New York Theater Barn on Instagram. You can also follow at Héctor Flores Jr. 35 and at The Collective KOLL3CTIVE.
Come on, Héctor.
I am for you beautiful, beautiful people killing it out there. Thank you so much. So here at Arizona Theater Company, we love for our guests to leave us with a word. One word. Now I'm gonna let y'all marinate on it for a second because I understand that words are power. But one word that is reverberating in you deeply though at this moment. Mine, I will say, is gratitude. I'm definitely so grateful for Will and all the hard work that he has done, especially in the last 48 hours. All the beautiful work that y'all have done for ATC on behalf of ATC with this beautiful project. I am full. So gratitude.
Well, I'm gonna leave mine out here then too. Is gonna be perspectives, because I'm just like having done this is we're halfway through our digital play reading series, and the artists that have come through here and the playwrights that have come through here have like all brought amazing perspectives, and they're all been different. They've all been nuanced, and it's been a joy and a privilege for us all to get to share your perspectives with us. So thank you so much, guys.
I'm thinking about the word necessary a lot these days. What is necessary? Yeah, for me, especially.
Héctor?
I think I'm gonna go with perseverance. I feel like we're in a place where we need that in every facet of our life, whether that's in the arts or social change. You know, we gotta just keep going, perseverance.
Absolutely.
For me, that's something that I've been taught a lot this week is the specific word keeps on coming up, advocate. And I think as a person, as just a human, as a woman, period, just advocate for your art. I think that's correct. Be an advocate for your art. Stick up for your art.
100.
When people are like, no, this, and you're like, but no, something in my spirit doesn't, I'm telling you, we need to fix this, you know, and that's really important. So I think the right phrasing is be an advocate for your art.
No, 100. Yeah. That is the right phrase. Absolutely. Okay. And
that is correct. Go, collect $200.
All right, 3,000.
Well, thank you so much for being our guest. Like I said, it's going to be short, cute, and sweet. We appreciate you. We appreciate your time on a Saturday. I understand it's nighttime for y'all on the East Coast. It's the middle of the afternoon for us. So thank you for spending your time with us so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. Yeah.